All right, for more, let's bring in former Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb and criminal defense attorney and Fox News contributor Josh Ritter. Thank you both for joining us this morning. I want to start with you, Josh. No developments really after the SWAT and FBI operation on Friday, 2 miles from Nancy's home. At least 3 people, a male individual and a mother, were among those detained. Another person was detained in a traffic stop. The sheriff, Nanos, told Fox's Matt Finn, quote, "A traffic stop was made on a person of interest near Culver's at River and First. This individual was our person of interest and was cooperative and later released. Every day moving forward, there will be a lot of activity throughout the community. As to what level of activity that is depends on what lead they chase and how it develops." So, Josh, the FBI is still awaiting forensics from this operation, we've learned, but no arrests were made, according to the sheriff. No sign of Nancy was found. Do you think this is a dead end?
I don't think it's a dead end, but it's certainly frustrating for all of us watching. But I think something to keep in mind is this is sometimes how investigations go. Officers will receive leads. They're going to, beat those down to their ultimate end. Sometimes they lead to a dead end. Sometimes it leads to more helpful information moving the investigation forward. This happens all the time. In other investigations, we're just not watching it as closely as we're watching this case. But this case does seem to be starting to take on almost an atmosphere of desperation, and it's this ebb and flow of what looks like promising leads, then followed by disappointment and moments of complete silence. So we had that apprehension of another person of interest earlier last week that again led to that person being released. Then we had this apprehension of 3 or 4 individuals, I'm not sure on the latest reporting, but certainly one of them was placed in handcuffs in the back of a patrol vehicle. We all thought that was the end of all of this. Then that person is released. The only thing I'll say is that when they make these apprehensions and arrests or detentions, whatever you want to call them, they are also executing warrants on the home, warrants on that individual, seizing their cell phone, the vehicle. All of that is going to lead to far more information, including DNA swabs. So it could be that they're just waiting on some of these results before they make another move, but we're all hopeful.
Mark, what do you make of Alicia's report that they've just launched this aircraft to try to scan for a Bluetooth signal from Nancy's pacemaker? Should that have been done earlier? And also, there's been so much scrutiny on the sheriff's office for using the Florida lab partner that they've been working with for 30 years to process evidence. The sheriff said that the FBI agreed it made a lot of sense to just continue to send the evidence to that lab in Florida because they already had evidence like the family's DNA being processed there, and just made sense to do it all together. But is that wasting time? And what kind of transport are we talking about? Is it, are they FedExing this stuff, or are they flying a plane? What does this look like, and are you concerned about time having been wasted?
Well, first of all, to the helicopter, I thought that was genius to be able to use the helicopter to see if maybe she was in the desert areas. Maybe she slipped out. Something happened to where she just left the residence. I thought that was very smart. They would also get a hit if that was in somebody's home nearby as well. So that part is smart. Let's remember, this is a sheriff's case. This is not an FBI case. And so the sheriff is going to do what he thinks is best with the evidence. DNA is not like a TV show where you get the results within no time and you figure out who did it by the end of the show. DNA is it takes time, and there is a place in Florida where you can actually process DNA against familial DNA. This would be anybody that might be related to a suspect. So there really is no perfect way to do it. There also is rapid DNA, where you can take samples of DNA and process it right there on scene and get results much quicker. It's not going to be as precise as what they're doing out there. I think that everybody's going to criticize everything they're doing. Josh brought it up. Look, we're watching all this stuff unfold right before our eyes, and we get a chance to criticize everything that they're doing. But a lot of the things that they are doing are normal things that you would do in a case that does not have 24/7 media coverage.
Josh, to Mark's point, he just said this is a sheriff's case. I asked the president on Friday why the FBI hasn't taken it over. He said to me that, they wanted to hold on to it. The locals wanted to hold on to it for a little while. Here's what he said. Listen to this.
Why hasn't the FBI taken over the Nancy Guthrie case as the lead investigator? Do you have any updates on how that's going?
Well, they took it over originally. You know, it was a local case originally, and they didn't want to let go of it, which is fine. It's up to them. It's really up to the community. But ultimately, when the FBI got involved, I think, progress has been made.
So there have been obviously a lot of articles saying that this is a sheriff's case, legally, unless they request help from the FBI is precluded from, taking part in that investigation. But isn't there also a statute that says, 24 hours after someone goes missing, there's a presumption of, them having crossed state lines, and that gives the FBI authority to assert jurisdiction? How does that factor into all of this, Josh?
I think there's a way for the FBI to get in and to get more involved with something we call a federal hook that allows them to have jurisdiction. Certainly to the point that you've made about this, you could easily make the assumption that she's crossed state lines. Also, the use of the Nest device is sending information across state lines to Google. I mean, they could get creative about it. But I think more than anything, what's that's highlighting is this subtext that's starting to become troubling about whether or not there's a failure in communication between the FBI and between the sheriffs. It's fine if the sheriffs want to take the lead as long as they're fully involving the FBI at every step of the way. And we're starting to hear rumblings, at least, that might not be happening to the full extent, which is not what you want to hear in a case like this, where this is still considered a rescue operation. We're still hopeful that we can recover Nancy Guthrie alive. And this infighting, if that is in fact taking place, is certainly not serving that purpose.
Mark, the fact that the FBI has not opted to assert its authority, does that signal to you any doubt potentially on their behalf that this won't be solved?
No, I don't think it signals anything. Look, I know the sheriff very well. And then, I would have kept this case myself as well, but I would have also worked very closely with the FBI. They have a lot of resources and a lot of capability that we just don't have in local law enforcement. And whenever you're dealing with local law enforcement and federal law enforcement, there is naturally a difference in the way we do the investigations, because we don't have the time and the resources that they do. We move a little bit different pace. You're going to naturally have some friction there. I wish they would do better. It looks like maybe they could do a little bit better on lessening that friction and working together to make sure that they bring a resolution to this case. But in the end, it's the sheriff's case. He's the one running it. They're the ones getting the information. And the FBI, I think, has done a good job of being there to say, hey, let's help. We'll help wherever we can. I don't know, unless they, Josh isn't wrong. They could, reach to find some type of interstate commerce connection. But at the same time, I think that they're trying to be a good partner here. And it is really difficult in a case. I'm going to go back to what I said before. We're all watching live as everything happens. This makes investigating a case a little bit challenging.
Josh, very quick final word, because we only have like 10 seconds left. Do you think the sheriff needs to be holding daily press conferences? Time is slipping by, potentially waning public interest, fewer tips. Is that at all a concern?
I don't know if we need it daily, but we need it more often than we've been getting it. We had like a flood of information to begin with. They were very upfront about what they had, and then that just shut off. And that kind of turning off the tap on information has led to a lot of frustration, a lot of questions, a lot of, frankly, conspiracy surrounding this that's unnecessary.
We hope that it draws to a conclusion soon for everyone involved, and especially for the family. All right, Mark Lamb and Joshua Ritter, thank you both so much for joining Sunday Briefing. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.